Unit 1 Towns and Cities.
There's a palace in my town and a shopping centre. There's a university. There's lots to do and see. There are cafes and restaurants and a museum too. Let's go to the cinema. Welcome to my town. Let's go to the playground. Let's go to the library. Come and read a book with me. Let's go to the station and see the trains waiting. Let's see the cathedral and all the happy people. All the happy people. Look at all the happy people. All the happy people. Look at all the happy people. There's a hospital, a swimming pool, and a market every day. Let's go to the theatre, let's go and see a play. There's a bridge by the river and a park by the school. There's a police station and a football stadium. Welcome to my town. Let's go to the playground. Let's go to the library. Come and read a book with me. Let's go to the station and see the trains waiting. Let's see the cathedral and all the happy people. All the happy people. Look at all the happy people. All the happy people. Look at all the happy people. Welcome to my town.
Hello everyone, hello students, it's me again. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you can call me Teacher Erin. So, how are you guys doing? Are you guys in a good condition? Good shape? I hope so. I wish all of you had an amazing day today, so we can have fun learning together. So, based on the video that I've just shown you just now, can you guess what are we going to learn for today? What was the video about? Alright, so for today's video, it meant for year 5 students like always, which I'm going to teach you a new topic today. Yay! So just like you saw in the animated video just now, I guess all of you can already catch up or guess something right. So we are going to learn in topic or unit 1, towns and cities. Towns and cities. You also can see my background is a theme of cities and towns. So are you guys excited in our new topic today? Yeah, me too. So can I ask you, what's come up on your mind when I talk about this topic? Can I ask you, have you ever been to any cities or towns? If yes, where? Where you guys usually went to if it was a city? For example, this is just an example, okay? Example like, I was born in town. So, town is kawasan luar bandar in Malay, or is some sort like a kampung or rural area. While for city, it means by a modern city, kawasan bandar. So, what are these examples of places in the city and town? Can you give me? We have like Kampung Baru in KL, Oyster Bay in New York, and many more. Okay, so if you have your textbook or student's book with you, please open it and use it along together. You can refer to page 17. So this is the textbook that we are going to use. English +1 second edition year 5 student's book. So, like I said just now, we are going to learn about something new, which is our main focus today, main grammar today is comparative adjective. Repeat after me, students. Comparative adjective. But let me remind you, our main skill for today is speaking, and our complementary skill for today is listening. Okay, so we will do activity that is related to listening and speaking only. Okay, I guess understand? Okay, so without wasting any more time, let's get started. But before that, let me show you our objective, learning standards, and content standards for our lesson today, like always. Objective. First, to speak and talk about places in a town or city. Second, to understand how to use the comparative adjective to differentiate the places. And the third objective are to listen to the audio and state true or false based on the statements given. Content standards, main skill, to communicate simple information intelligibly. Complementary skill, to recognize and reproduce target language sounds. Learning standards, main skill, to find out about and describe experiences up to now. Complementary skill, to recognize and reproduce with little or no support a wide range of target language phonemes. Before we start our lesson, we will do our first activity together, which we are going to listen to our new vocabulary of the lesson mentioned by me. We will learn on how to pronounce and spell each words correctly together, okay? We will also talk about places in town or city based on the picture shown. And this vocabulary is about places in towns and city. So, let's start. Together, you read after me. The first one, library. Library. At the British Library, there are 14 million books. Second, park. Park. Regent's Park is a beautiful green area. Third, hotel. Hotel. The Savoy is a very famous hotel. Monument. Monument. Nelson's Column is a tall monument. Square. Square. Nelson Column is at Trafalgar Square. Shop. 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 Harrods is a very famous shop. Bus station. Bus stations. London buses stop at Victoria Bus Station. Market. Market. People shop at the markets in Covent Garden. Cinema. Cinema. People watch 3D films in the IMAX cinema. Restaurant. Restaurant. Many interesting Chinese food are in the restaurants of Chinatown. Station. Station. Take a train from King's Cross Station. Theatre. Theatre. The West End is London's theatre district. Bridge. Bridge. You can see the Thames River from the Tower Bridge. Office building. Office building. The Shard is London's new and very tall office building. Now, we will describe a place that we chosen. Let's start describing it. So, let's choose Kuala Lumpur City Centre, KLCC, at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So now let's describe it together. In KLCC, we can shopping. And there's also have a park, hotel, aquaria, garden, and many more. Hey, well done everyone! Since we are going to learn about grammar about comparative adjectives, so let's watch this animated and fun video together regarding to our main grammar today, which is comparative adjective. Are you ready, students? Are you excited? Alright, so now let's begin. You guys have to watch it carefully, right?
You're faster than me at juggling.
Yes, I'm faster than you. And I'm better than you at tricks.
Yes, but I'm more surprising than you.
Fast. Faster. Small. Smaller. Big. Bigger. High. Higher. Big. Bigger. Safe. Safer. Noisy. Noisier. Exciting. More exciting. Dangerous. More dangerous. Good. Better. Bad. Worse.
Now, let's get back to our lesson. Alright, first thing first. What do you know about comparative adjective? What is comparative adjective? I guess all of you must be really wondering, right? Okay, so now let's learn it together. Okay, so a comparative adjective is an adjective used to compare two people or things. We use comparative adjective to say that one person or thing demonstrates a high degree of a quality or is a better example of a quality than the other. Words like taller, smarter, and slower are examples of comparative adjective. Now, let's illustrate how we use comparative adjective with a hypothetical. You have metal blocks in front of you, like you see that. The left block weighs 10 pounds and the right block weighs 20 pounds. Because the right block weighs more than the left block, we would say that the right block is heavier, lebih berat than the left block. On the other hand, we could also say that the left block is lighter, lebih ringan than the right block. We are using comparative adjective to compare the blocks to each other by indicating which one has a more extreme degree of a certain quality, like heaviness or lightness. For your information, A comparative adjective is formed from the positive form of an adjective, which is the form of an adjective you will find if you look it up in our incredible dictionary. The adjective like brave, fast, and cute are adjectives in the positive form. For example, here as you can see are the rules for forming comparative from a positive form of the adjective. The first rules are most one-syllable adjective. We add er to the end. For example, clear becomes clearer. If the adjective ends in e letter, just add r letter. For example, free becomes freer. If the adjective ends in y, you sometimes replace the y with an I just before adding er. For example, dry becomes drier, but shy becomes either shyer or shyer. Second rule are one-syllable adjective that end in consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, which it double the final consonant before adding er. For example, big becomes bigger and wet becomes wetter. Rule number 3 are two-syllable adjective that ends in y. Drop the y and replace it with an I, and then add er. For example, rainy becomes rainier and ugly becomes uglier. Rule number 4 are two-syllable adjective that end in er or le or ow. So you have to add er to the end of the word. For example, narrow becomes narrower and simple becomes simpler. And the last rules are all other adjectives that are two syllables or longer, which we have to add the word more or less to the positive form. For example, acceptable becomes more acceptable and unmanageable become less unmanageable. Like that, alright? There are a few adjectives that are exceptions to the above rules. For example, the adjective quiet, narrow, and clever can use either the er or the more less forms. However, we never use both forms at the same time. For example, you want to say someone is less clever. Additionally, there are some adjectives that are irregular. This includes good, well, bad, far, and old. Their comparative forms are like this. The first one, good and well become better. Remember that. Good and well become better. Second, bad become worse. Bad become worse. Note, the word better is sometimes used as a slang or non-standard comparative form of bad. The third one, far become. Some style guides may say that farther is preferred for physical distance and further is preferred for figurative distance. However, these words are often used interchangeably in everyday speech and writing, which means it changes every day. And number 4, old become what? Most of the time, old behave as a regular adjective and its comparative form is older. However, when discussing the age of people, the word elder is sometimes used as the comparative form of old, as in the elder kitten had darker fur than the younger one. In general, though, elder is not as commonly used, and many speakers and writers will use the word older even when referring to people. Remember that. When we use comparative adjective in sentences, we often use them together with the word then in order to connect the two people or things we are comparing. For example, we say this soup is hotter than that one, and not this soup is hotter than one, worse than. So we add than, the word of than. Now, let's look at examples of comparative adjectives used in sentences. In each example, the comparative adjective is in bold. The first one, comparative adjective using ER in the following sentences. The comparative adjective all use the ER form. So example number one in sentences are: my employees are all younger than me. Second, we moved from a big city to a smaller town. Third, Erica will need to get faster if she wants to win the big race. Number 4, when learning a new language, it is best to start with simple words before learning harder ones. Second one, in comparative adjective, using more, longer adjective, use the words more and less. When used as comparative adjective, we use the word more to say that something demonstrates a higher degree of quality than something else. For the first example in sentences are: first one, the end of the book is more interesting than the beginning. Out of the two houses, the mansion is definitely more spacious than the cottage. Third, generally speaking, cats tend to be more independent than dogs. They added gold-plated cup holders to the limo to make it feel more luxurious. The third comparative adjective are comparative adjective using less. When using longer comparative adjective, we use the word of less to describe a noun or pronoun as having the lower extreme of a quality when comparing two things. For example, in sentences are: the first one, the merry-go-round is a less intense ride than the roller coaster. Second, we left the shopping mall to try to find a less crowded place to hang out. She retired from acting to live a less glamorous life in the countryside. Number 4, Ted quit his job as a waiter because he wanted to pursue a less demanding career. Number 4, comparative adjective are irregular comparative adjective. The adjective good, well, bad, old, and far have irregular comparative forms. Let's look at how we use them in sentences. Pay special attention to how the comparative form of far may change depending on its meaning. Alright, the example in sentences are: first one, the barber did a much better job cutting my shorter hair than I did. Julie was sick yesterday, but she is feeling better today. Church. Not doing your homework is bad, but copying someone else is even worse. Fourth. Diego is Max's elder brother. Number 5. The post office is farther away from my house than the supermarket is. Like I said before, sometimes the word better is used as slang comparative form of bad. For the most part, the word worse is preferred in formal writing or speech. Like example in sentences is, the small spiders don't bother me, but you have really got to watch out for the bigger, badder monster. Like that, alright? Next is comparative adjective rules and best practice. So this is the sentences of it. You can read it on your own. So now, like I said before, I will explain it more to you about comparative adjective. Right, so now let's learn more about it. Yay! Comparative adjective. Before we learn about comparative adjective, you must know about adjective first, right? So what is adjective? Like I teach you in my past video, if you remember, adjectives are words that describe nouns. Adjective can tell us the information like age and also opinions about noun or describe someone's feeling. We use comparative adjective to compare two people, places or things. Comparative adjective tell us how one noun is different from the other. For example, she is taller than him. This painting is more beautiful than that painting. Third example, my brother looks happier than my sister. How are comparative adjectives formed in English? It depends on how many syllables the adjective has. For one syllable adjective, we add er to the adjective. For example, shorter becomes shorter. If the adjective ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant patterns, like I said before, we double the final consonant before adding er. Big become bigger. For two syllables adjective that end in y, we change y to I and add er. For example, hungry becomes hungrier and noisy becomes noisier. Two syllables or more, we use the word more before the adjective. For example, modern becomes more modern and expensive becomes more expensive. Some comparative adjective in English does not follow or don't follow the usual rules. For example, the adjective good becomes better, had becomes worse, and far becomes further or further, like I said in my previous slide.
The most common sentence pattern for comparative adjectives in English is subject plus verb plus comparative adjective plus than plus object. Let's look at some examples of comparative adjectives in a sentence. The blue house is bigger than the yellow house. Rock music is better than classical music. My dog is lazier than my cat. The singer is more famous than the actor. My boots are more expensive than your shoes.
Now, it's time for exercise. You just learned about comparative adjective, right? Now, let's do exercises together. Can you do it? you have to do is to listen to the audio given carefully. You need to answer the questions whether it's true or false, betul atau salah, benar atau palsu, based on that audio. Then you have to answer it carefully and correctly, okay? So now let's begin. The first questions. Emma thinks that the shopping center is cleaner than the park. So let's see whether it's true or false. Let's listen to this audio carefully.
1. Emma.
Hi, can I ask you, what's your favourite place in town?
The shopping centre, I think.
The shopping centre? Why's that?
I don't know. My friends go there.
And you prefer this and not the park near your house, for example?
Yes, the park's dirty. This is cleaner, and I like the shops.
Okay, thanks.
So the answer is true. True, Emma thinks that the shopping center is cleaner than the park. Second questions. Lucas thinks that the bus is slower than his bike. Let's listen to this audio.
2. Lucas.
My favourite place? I don't know, but maybe the bike shop.
The bike shop? Really? There are a lot of people with bikes in this town. When you go to school, do you prefer the bus or your bike?
My bike? The bus is more expensive and it's slower.
But bikes are more dangerous?
Yes, they are.
So the answer is true. Number 3. Lucas thinks that the buses are more dangerous than bikes. So is it true? Let's listen to this audio.
Lucas.
My favourite place? I don't know, but maybe the bike shop.
The bike shop? Really? There are a lot of people with bikes in this town. When you go to school, do you prefer the bus or your bike?
My bike? The bus is more expensive and it's slower.
But bikes are more dangerous?
Yes, they are.
So the answer for number 3 is true. Number 4. Dwayne thinks that Oxford is nicer and older than his city. So let's listen to this audio.
3. Dwayne.
What's your favourite place in town?
I'm not sure. Well, I'm not from here. I'm from New York, in the USA.
Oh, right.
Oxford is a nice city, though. Nicer than New York, I think.
Really? Why?
New York is more modern. I like older places.
So the statement is true. The last questions. Harriet thinks that Gino's pizza are bigger and better.
4. Chloe and Harriet.
Hi there. A quick question. What's your favourite place in town?
Gino's Pizza Restaurant.
Really?
Yes, I think Gino's is great. But my friend Harriet prefers Luigi's.
Yeah, Luigi's pizzas are bigger.
Maybe, but they're better in Gino's, and the people are friendlier there.
Okay, yes, that's true.
So this statement is false. So that's all, everyone. Good job. So I think that's all for our lesson today, and I hope you learned a lot from my video. I guess you already can use, understand, or implement some of comparative adjective in your life, right? Very good. So before we end our lesson for today, I will tell you our moral values for today's lesson, which is we must always keep our manners no matter where we are, in a city or sound because it symbolizes ourselves and our origins, our asal usul. So I shall see you guys on my next video next week. Don't forget to study and do your revisions, okay? Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and a big thumbs up would be very appreciated. Alright, bye. Take care, stay safe, and I love you.